Welcome back. About a month ago I did a video on trying to use sheep's wool as a mulch. I'd seen Terry King use it, and in theory it seemed to have loads of great properties. So I put some down. You can see I've got all up this bed, and as it happens the one behind me. So I put it down, and I've also I put some out in the outside beds, and we're going to have a look at that as well in a minute. But I thought I'd just do a little update of how it's working for me, and go through the benefits I've found and all that good stuff. So I'll stick you on the tripod a bit further up, and we'll just have a look around the this bed here that's got all my tomatoes in. Let's go and have a look. Okay then, so here we are about half the way up the tomato bed, and one of the benefits of using wool is weed suppressant. Tick. Not a single weed, nothing. I haven't weeded this bed at all. It's just works brilliantly for that. And the other big thing that I was interested in is it acting as a mulch to keep the moisture in, so I haven't got to water the beds quite as often. So if we pull this back, now this is, you know, quite a thick covering. I think it needs to be quite thick to be of any use. The tomatoes I've only watered through my deep watering tubes, which is just some guttering down pipe that I use, and I just water in through there. When I do feed the tomatoes, I do put the feed just around the tomato. So let's see how it's worked as far as that's concerned. Now around the tube it's worked brilliantly. You know, it's holding that moisture in. It's holding the moisture in all around. Oh, there's a weed. Holding the moisture in down around. It's just, yeah, it just works. And even out here, yes, it's dry on top, but it's still moist below. So it's meant cutting down my watering phenomenally. I can't even say it. Yeah, that word. And also, I feel by keeping the moisture in the bed during the summer, it's going to help keep the microbes and that happy, because, you know, from what I've seen, once you've got really dry soil, you know, there's not much going on in it. You need damp soil to help things to grow. So that's worked quite well. Let's pull it away from these. These are the marigolds I've got going on. Big rock here. There again, these haven't been watered. A little bit dry, but that's only on the surface. So as far as keeping the moisture in, it's worked really well. And this stuff is dirt cheap. I mean, I bought I got two in the end. I got a big ton bag of it, and it cost me a tenner. The other nice little advantage, if the tomatoes drop down like these have, touching the wool, not an issue, because it's away from the soil. And another thing it's supposed to do is deter slugs. That worked quite well in here. I've only had one plant with slug damage, and I'll go and show you, because I did something else, a little trick that I saw on another channel to well, catch a slug, which is what I did. So I'll just show you. Okay, so see this one here, we had a bit of slug damage on it. slug or snail, something, you know, you can tell by the slime on the leaf. This is the only one that had any damage, and what I did is I buried, there again, under the wool, because it keeps it moist, and slugs like dark moist places, a bit of cucumber. And the cucumber, the slugs get really attracted to the cucumber. So I buried that in there, slug come along, eating that, I caught the slug, got rid of that, and I put another bit in here just to make sure that they'd gone. And I've left it there just as a slug trap, and that worked really well, and caught me slug. So that's that. This is a yellow variety called Howard's Raid Round, apparently. So that's a yellow one, because what I've done in this bed, I've done 3 red varieties and then 1 yellow variety in each of the beds. There's 4 beds here. So yeah, but there again, it's worked really well. Worked really well. Oh, look at that caterpillar. Look at that. Huh. That's the other nice thing with using the sheep's wool. If you've got sort of slug or some sort of damage attacking your plant, often they'll hide literally just underneath the plant, under the wool, because that is still a dark, moist place, and it's easy to catch them. Right, I'll pop this one outside a minute, and then we'll have a quick look at the middle bed, because I've got stuff all around with sweet corn and different things like that. All right, right chap, time for you to leave. Okay, so right on cue, got a bumblebee there in the cosmos at the end of the bed. I like to grow a few flowers just to keep things brightened up in here. And as you can see, I put wool down the whole length of this bed as well, mainly to try and see if it adversely affected any other plants that I've got growing, or if I could find any issues, and so far none. Right at the beginning we got some cucumbers growing away nicely like everybody. Once they start coming in, oh, there's a pot there, yeah, they're coming in well. And what I tend to do is, as the cucumbers go up and as I pick the fruit, I also cut the leaves off. So I got a bare stem below, and then just the cucumbers growing up and away. One more there, a few more the other side. Anyway, this isn't about cucumbers, this is about the mulch. Here I've got some dwarf beans, there again, mulch right around, and there again, I'm only watering these once a week. If we pull the mulch back, you can see it's kept it nice and moist and no weeds. This is the biggest thing for me, absolutely zero weeding. And then moving on, we got watermelon, we got 6 on here. Now I figure watermelon, they're going to need a lot of water, so there again, with the wool around, I can deep water, and I know the heat of the sun coming in the polytunnel is not going to, you know, dry up this top surface, and it just works brilliantly. And there again, eco-friendly, hardly any air miles or travel time. I literally got this wool from 5 miles away from a little local farmer. Then we've got the what have we got here? Yeah, this is the oh, what they got? Loofahs. Yeah, this is a loofah plant. There again, a bit of slug damage to start with. I put I don't know if it's still there, I did put cucumber under here. Oh yeah, put a cucumber under here, caught the offender, put another cucumber, and that one's not being touched. So I'm figuring the damage, or the slug, any damage from that is done and dusted now. Just got a little teddy bear sunflower here, just there again, just for a bit of colour in the tunnel. And yeah, a few beans that are left over from the ones I planted outside. These are Cobra, just in case any of those failed. And also here I put the wool around the sweet corn, and yeah, absolutely no detrimental effects I've found. Got a few cobs really starting to swell up now. They're looking really cool. Won't be long before we're picking those. They're just in the shade, but in the tunnel I got my seed potatoes chitting for me Christmas potatoes, so that'll be a video soon. So just sort of a conclusion for everything in the tunnel, it just works brilliantly. I couldn't be more pleased. Literally zero weeding, reduced watering, easy to catch slugs, happy days. So let's go and have a look outside, see how we get on out there. Okay, so this is one of the outside beds, and so this is open to the elements, getting all the rain on it and everything else. And as you can see, I've got some more of the teddy bear sunflowers here, and I put the wool around them because, as you know, slugs really like the sunflowers. And if I zoom in a little bit, you can see we have some slug damage on these, quite bad in the middle, not too bad around the outside. And to be honest, that's probably down to me being a bit lazy. I put a let's go down and see if we can see it. I put a cucumber just tucked inside at the ends. Well, that one's nearly gone, look. Ha! That one's nearly gone. It's amazing how the slugs love the cucumber. But I've caught loads of slugs in there. I'll so it's time for a new one. I'll stick a picture up of how well it worked. But there again, you'll never get rid of slugs completely, I'm sure of that. And here we've got some, there again, some dwarf beans and another lot of beetroot just under the net. And there again, holds the water in, zero weeding. I think it's helping to reduce the slugs, but nothing really stops slugs. And if you're thinking about it, what we're creating by putting mulch, and that's the same with any mulch in my head, is we're creating a dark, moist area, and that's what slugs like. So I think it helps, but it's no miracle cure. But as far as keeping the weeds down, well, there just isn't any. So I'll definitely be using it again. I'll tell you what, let's just go and have a little sit down again. I'll put a tripod and I'll just go over the pros and cons, if you like. Right then, so let's do a little conclusion of sheep's wool as a mulch. It's really good. As far as keeping weeds down, tick, works brilliantly. Yes, it's not going to keep down, you know, docks, and if you've got couch grass or, you know, your perennials that are difficult to kill, it's not going to stop that. But by keeping it dark, it's going to stop any windblown annuals from germinating. So tick. As far as keeping the moisture in, definite tick. It just insulates the soil, so it helps keep the water in. Simple as that. It just works. As far as slug defense, yeah, not really. I think it worked better in the tunnel where it's dry, so the wool's dry, and from what I can gather, the slugs don't like going over the dry wool. Outside, it is what it is. But because you can just pull the sheep's wool away, chuck down a bit of cucumber, because if you're anything like me, you've got cucumbers coming out your ears at the minute. A bit of cucumber, it's a great way of trapping them. So it makes it easy to get rid of your slugs, or at least to catch them, or a large amount of them. So it works really well for that. It's cheap. Like I say, a big bag of this, a ton bag, cost me, the bag didn't weigh a ton, but you know what I mean. That was, I think it was 10 fleeces, and that cost me £10. Normally it's between 10 and 20 pounds, and it was only 5 miles up the road from me. A lovely little farmer. So very little in the way of cost of getting it, and I found it on Marketplace. You know, and if you live in a rural community or a rural area, just ask around. There's bound to be a sheep farmer around there somewhere that'd be more than happy to sell you a bit of wool. So it's cost effective. It degrades. It's totally, you know, organic, for want of, well, I don't know, organic, that's not the right word, is it? What am I looking for? It's yeah, what's the bloody word? Anyway, you know what I mean. It'll degrade. You can put it in your compost bin. It's a high nitrogen source as well as phosphate and potash. If you just leave it on the soil, it'll degrade from underneath. I mean, this here actually is the second bag that I got, and that had been outside for nearly 12 months. So this isn't quite as white and as pretty as the wool there. And little bonus, the lanolin in the wool makes your hands nice and soft. That's it really. I just think it's a great thing to try, and I'm definitely going to be using it again. And you know, storing it, just put it back in the bag, stick it back in the bag, put it outside. If you haven't got room in the shed, just put a sheet over it or a bit of black polythene, anything just to keep the worst of the rain off. Or you could, you know, incorporate it into your compost bin. So that's sheep's wool. That's my thought on it. I'll definitely be using it again, and putting it around all the different plants, both inside and out. So far I haven't found any detrimental effects to the plant. All right, so there we go. That's my little 1 month update on the sheep's wool as a mulch. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope some of it was useful to you, and catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers and gone.